What's going on, guys? Alex here, and right now let's talk about keyboards. If you are into keyboards, most probably you want to have the best sounding and feeling keyboard. So now let's get to the most budget friendly Thock RGB keyboard. So first of all, what do we need? We will begin the mounting of the keyboard starting with the Keychron, and to be honest, almost everything in this episode will be from Keychron. So we begin with this keyboard, the Keychron Q1 NC knob version. We are interested in translucent or frosted bourbon knob version because knob is pretty useful for music control, for horizontal scrolling, for example, and we're going with frosted version because it's a little bit translucent, so RGB will be seen much better. So what can I tell about this keyboard? So first of all, it supports both Windows and Mac, and to be honest, it has a switch on the back to set up Mac and Windows separately. The next thing, it has detachable USB Type-C cable, which comes of course in the box, USB Type-C to USB Type-C, with another adapter from USB Type-C to USB Type-A. Of course, this version which we are interested in has also a knob. As I said before, it can control on default the volume of the Windows, but you can program it for horizontal scrolling or for anything you'd like. Also, this keyboard is useful for us because it has VIA functions. So the VIA is the online application which also can be downloaded on your Windows or Mac machine, and so it will control lighting, it will control your macros, and it will control the settings of your keyboard. And of course, the thing why we're interested in this keyboard in the first place, it is sound, and the sound is good because of the dampening foam on the back of this keyboard. And of course, last but not least, it has three positioning non-detachable legs. So as you can see right now, here we have no legs at all, here we have legs number 1 and legs number 2. So totally it gets us with 3 options. The switches. One of the most important parts of every keyboard are switches. In our case, we will be using black switches from Gateron, also can be bought on the Keychron website. These switches are linear, but it is a little bit better than red switches because you need to press a little bit harder, as you can see right now from this table, and that will give us first of all a pretty good feeling, and the next thing, it will provide us with pretty good sound. So, and last but not least, these are keycaps. The keycaps will be also bought from Keychron website. It is PBT OEM retro keycap set for Q1 keyboard, and despite not being leather engraved, they are shine through keyboards, so you can see pretty good the keys in the night. And of course, we can add something like coiled cable from AliExpress. Of course, you can buy something more expensive from Glorious, for example, or from the same Keychron, but this cable on AliExpress costs something around $5, and it completes its purposes very good. So right now, let's get into the sound test. And right now, let's visit the Keychron website to see the prices. So right now, let's dive into the website and see the prices for this mechanical keyboard as I have built it. So first of all, Keychron V1 QMK custom mechanical keyboard, bare bone knob in frosted black or translucent color will cost you $74. If we're talking about Gateron G Pro switch set in black, 110 switches, which is more than enough for you, will cost you only $19. And if we're talking about the Keychron OEM profile PBD retro keycap set, which I have right now, which resembles a little bit from the retro Mac version, with, for example, example, one more thing on the enter cap, thing different on the delete, and hello on the escape button, it will cost you $40 plus shipping. But you can see right now it is all sold out for Key 2, Q1 and V1 keyboards, so the website can notify you when these keycaps will be available. And right now let's see what you can get from the VIA application. So I prefer to use the VIA application on my browser because this keyboard has more than enough memory in order to remember all of the colors which you have set. And so right now let's authorize the device, Keychron V1, and let's press connect. So right now, as you can see and as you can hear my neighbor, you can choose anything you'd like. For example, you would like to remap button A from button F or any other button, as you can see right now. So up, right, down, menu, spacebar. This is pretty basic. You can also control your brightness, your effects, effect speed, color hue, and colors saturation for your keyboard right from the keyboard without need for any application. Of course, you can control media with volume up, mute, play, media stop, previous, next, rewind, fast forward, select, and eject. Pretty useful. And if we're talking about macro, you can also remap the macros from 1 to 15. So right now, in order to set the macros, you need to go to macros folder, and right here you can record any macros you'd like and set up to this keyboard. So next, you can save and load different types of layouts. So in my case, it was not necessary because I have authorized the device right, and the browser and the VIA app actually sees my device really properly. But in other cases, you can load necessary setup for this keyboard as well. And one of the most interesting thing is lighting, and the lighting is actually where the downside comes. And the downside of this keyboard is that you can choose, if you're talking about solid color, you can choose only one solid color. So here you have all of the hue, you can choose anything you'd like, any color you'd like, or you can choose, of course, none, so the lighting will be turned off. Then, of course, different types of animations, like, for example, breathing, cycle of RGB, cycle to right, left, rainbow moving, cycle in a dial, cycle spiral, beacon, and so on. But I personally prefer the most easiest. It is not breathing, but simply solid color. So the solid color is more than enough. And also, in order to remap and control this keyboard, they are layers. Layer number 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these layers are dedicated towards Windows and Mac separately. So in layer 2 and layer 3, it would be Mac dedicated, because you can see the 0 button. And layer 1 and layer 0 will be dedicated towards Windows. So I have everything by default, and as you can see, is everything pretty good. And despite the fact that the keycaps, as you can see, your Keychron OEM Profile PPT Retro keycap set, they are more dedicated towards Mac. Despite this fact, these functions work pretty good as well. So play, pause, and media control, sound control works the same as it would work anything else. So the lighting can be controlled also from your keyboard, so lighting down or up. And also lighting up and down for your laptop, so control your laptop brightness. And F3 and F4, F3 actually opens us the task view, and F4 opens us the Explorer. So everything works, and everything works pretty good. So all in all, for $134 you get pretty thocky for the price keyboard, and it costs even less than, for example, Razer, which will sound pretty awful. If you are into keyboards, you know what I mean, because the same Black Widow V through wireless, it sounds pretty awful. But the bonus of the Razer, it has integration with the games, and it has much better lighting. So if the lighting is important for you, in that case Keychron will not be your option. But if lighting is less important than thocky keyboard and feeling of the keyboard, in that case Keychron is the right choice, and you can also craft this keyboard from scratch, which is also pretty good experience. And of course, but last but not least, you can get from AliExpress this braided cable for something around $5. So it will come from USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, and it has the length of something around 2.5 meters, so it's more than enough both for PC and for laptops. And of course, this will look simply incredible on your desk setup. But that's it for me. Thank you for joining in. Feel free to leave a like and a comment down below, and see you here next time for the review.